To all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. It is now 5:14 p.m. Calling the roll, Ms. Simon. Ms. Baker. Here. Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron. Mr. Schron is absent. Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Ms. Turner.
Present.
Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Council President Jones.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we have a motion to excuse our colleague Jack Schron from today's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor of excusing Councilman Schron, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. At this time, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Andrea, has anyone signed in for public comment?
Yes, Pat Dillard.
Hello, I'm Pat Dillard, and as we all know, our county is thinking of...
Ms.
Pull your
Dillard,
microphone.
if you could move your microphone closer to you.
I'm
Thank
sorry. Okay, I'm Pat Dillard, and as we all know, our county is considering building a huge new jail on a toxic waste dump. What is wrong with this picture? Many things, but I would like to just mention a few. First, we are still awaiting the results of a study to continue using the two current jail buildings and remodel them to meet current best practice standards. The advantages of leaving the jail where it is now are many. Its proximity to the common pleas court so that people in prison do not have to be transported from a distant jail for court appearances, which will entail added costs and safety issues. The central location, as it is now, is convenient for the judges, for the attorneys, and for the families, and enables more efficient handling of the cases. Cases can be handled more expeditiously since all principals are in the same location. The new central booking center is also located within the current jail, adding to the efficiency of letting the jail stay right where it is now. The current size of the jail is sufficient to meet our needs. However, to truly reduce the population of the jail, I would like to suggest that we, and the council particularly, take a good look at what Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, has done. That's where Charlotte is located. The community said, we do not want to spend money on building a large new jail. Instead, they revised county court procedures, providing pretrial services, and the use of reducing the use of cash bail for poor people who were in jail pre-trial. They have been very successful. Let's take a look at their success and learn from it. Thank you very much.
Lori Albright.
Good evening. I'm Lori Albright. I live in University Heights. Greetings to the County Council and our executive. I have two comments this evening, one related to the jail and another related to an item on today's agenda. Regarding the jail, congratulations to our county for the two DOJ grants, one towards the diversion center and one towards the central booking for a cool $1 million. Everybody agrees that we still have too many people unnecessarily in the jail. If reforms in at least 3 areas, 1, the utilization of cash bail, it's unconstitutional to have a debtor's prison, which is essentially what we have right now in many cases. 2, the full utilization of the diversion center. And 3, the full utilization of the central booking. If that occurred, it is predicted that the population of the jail would decrease significantly. thus the need for a smaller jail wherever it is situated. As a taxpayer, it seems prudent to slow down the train, wait a few years, and see the results of our efforts before building another monstrosity. However, it is more important that the focus right now be on improving the jail policies, practices, and procedures. Regardless of the brick and mortar, the program and staff deserve your laser focus on the dire need for improvement that will save lives and trauma that people undergo while they are there, which they then bring back to the community with them. What will each of you do right now to create the conditions necessary to move forward with how the jail is run? My second comment is related to the item authorizing a cool $1 million excuse me, for an indoor shooting range for the police in Rocky River. I understand there's a state-of-art range available for police use at Tri-C. When the funds cannot be found for programs like the Rape Crisis Center or the Northeast Ohio Black Health Coalition, programs which significantly improve the lives of our neighbors cannot be found, but $1 million for a shooting range? I think this speaks to the priorities of our county, and I'm disgusted by this. I urge your consideration of priorities for our residents as you make your decisions this evening. Thank you.
Mr. President, could you remind our residents that we shouldn't clap until the end, if at all?
You heard her.
Adam Bresnahan.
Hi, my name is Adam Bresnahan. I live in the city of Cleveland, District 3. The first thing I'd like to say is I was able to catch some of the Committee of the Whole meeting while I was at work today, and I don't think it's fair, I really don't appreciate it, that those of us who come to give comment are spoken of as, quote, outside noise. I don't appreciate being insulted like that, and I'd appreciate or believe that it would be appropriate for the council member who issued that statement to issue an apology. Frankly, we're the citizens of this county, and we're the ones who are going to be paying this bill in the end. The reason for the delays are many, I think. You're all clear. I talked to Councilmember Sweeney the other day. He said this was a hodgepodge, I quote, this planning process. Prosecutor O'Malley, who is the person whose job it is to send people to jail and who normally is opposed to the demands of activists, like many of those who come to speak against the jail, is actually on the activist side, which is kind of surprising. Feel like that should say something. And in a recent interview with IdeaStream, he questioned why the process is being rushed. $750 million, I think, was the amount that was stated today. Previously, it was supposed to be $550 million. Wow, that's a huge amount of money. Kind of also shocking that when the county's financial official was asked to give a quote regarding how much interest would be paid on various lengths and percentages, et cetera, he was unable to do that. I think that's pretty unprofessional. It seems like the most basic job of a financial official would be to have those numbers ready and able to present to their boss. You're the boss, of course, or the ultimate boss, but just really shows some disregard. Just a quick calculation. I don't know all the nuances of bond issues and how governments pay interest, but certainly that will put the price at over $1 billion with the interest easily, probably closer to 1.5. Just a incredible amount of money. I don't know. Nobody here denies that the current jail is bad. There's no question. The question is this planning process, how intransparent it has been, how incredibly expensive this is going to be, and if it's really worth it, and if there's not an alternative, such as renovating or building a smaller jail or I don't know what. So please take that into consideration and everything else that the folks are going to say into consideration, and everything that the prosecutor, the administrative judge, and the public defender have said regarding changing their policies here in Cuyahoga County regarding sentencing and bail, et cetera. Take that into your consideration when you make your decision. Thanks.
Lou?
With an H?
Good evening. Nice to see all of you again, but it may not be that nice for all of you to see all of us again. Well, so many things in so little time. It's really hard to make a good decision. But if somebody in general who don't like people's voice even raise a question, now is the time we should all think about it. As I did before, I believe most of you remember, I actually made a New Year resolutions for you to move the homeless shelter service into the jail. Now, if we definitely will have the bigger and new county jail, this is the time we can actually do it. Now, not too long ago, we actually had another meeting at the Tri-C, but they showed us the look of the building. So, if the question is about architecture issues, so you have a meaningful gate, beautiful building. Is that really better than a fundamentally important kitchen and service areas to help the family to visit their loved ones, to help the public defenders to talk to their clients? Is that a photo or the picture or drawing to show us how would you arrange the sleeping arrangement so we don't have to worry about any other pandemic coming up or even the existing one still ongoing, social distancing? We do not want the people just to be like in the homeless shelter, one pass the COVID-19 to another back and forth. So if these things are not important, why are we all here? We are here just come to chit-chat and killing time? I don't think so. People are still struggling. If all the good decisions can be made, yes, we understand Rape Crisis Center and some other organization needs to be funded. And this particular money to the county jail definitely will be enough to help a lot of those programs. Instead of each one of you only got $6 million to help out the community to revive maybe the essential data system they have from 1980s. Come on. Let's think about this again. We still have a little bit of time. Still not too late for you guys to make wise decisions on behalf of all the people in the county. Thank you.
Brian Clack?
This is my first time doing this, so I'm kind of nervous, so bear with me. But I'm a longtime county resident, as well as a longtime county employee. I currently work in the jail as a jail supervisor. One thing I want to say first and foremost, before we entertain the idea of a new jail, I want you all to entertain the retention within that jail. I'm currently a supervisor. And back in the day, when you became a supervisor, people stayed and retired. I would go to retirement parties. Now people are departing. Officers, rank and file are departing. But yet we want to speak about a new jail and this, that, and the third. Ms. Turner, I think I seen you tour the other day, which I greatly appreciate it. I'm there during day shift, so if you guys want to tour, I advise you to tour. So when I talk about retention, I talk about we need to do something to keep employees there. So we had a Browns game Sunday. Browns game, we're telling an employee that potentially they have to pay $30 to park to come down to work to deal with a stressful environment. Now, I've been there since 2005, and the stress level of this job has drastically increased, yet the backing of the brave men and women behind the walls have decreased. I'm asking for your help. I'm willing to talk to any of you. I'm an open book, but we need help behind those walls. I see it every day. I speak to my men and women every day, and a lot of them I have to coerce to stay because I believe in this profession. And I wouldn't be here speaking in front of you if I didn't believe in it. But the stuff we face on a daily behind those walls, getting spit on, getting assaulted, and the stuff those inmates say daily, and to maintain your professionalism, it's tough, it's trying. So I understand why people leave. So I'm just urging for you to help, and thank you for your time.
Reverend Aaron Phillips.
Good afternoon again, Mr. President, to the entire council. Here again, Pastor Aaron Phillips, the senior pastor, Sure House Baptist Church, 113 18 Miles Avenue, best place to be on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. And I'm the executive director of the Cleveland Clergy Coalition, which makes up many of our local African-American churches and pastors. We have some of our pastors here again this afternoon. I don't understand why anybody doesn't want to build a new jail. Especially, I hearing people talk about not having a new jail, but I bet they haven't been there. If you have been to the jail, either as a visitor or as a customer, you will know we absolutely need a new jail. We absolutely need criminal justice reform. We need bail reform. We need to make sure that we have the proper staff. Staff is trained. We need to do all of those things. So we are capable of doing them all. We can be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. So because when we say we're supportive of a new jail, that does not mean that we don't want bail reform. That does not mean we want to make sure that we have proper staff. I think the young man who just spoke, when you have a new jail, I think that brings a whole new attitude among the staff as well as the people. So one of the biggest problems I have with the jail is you can go in there, be in there for months, and never see the sun. Somebody was talking about the transporting. I think people would rather be transported in a bus to go to the jail than coming up that horrible elevator that they have that gets you up there. We need a new jail. We need criminal justice reform. We need it all. And I think it's irresponsible. And I'm concerned about people who are talking about we don't need a new jail, who really don't understand. I know it's over 50% of the people who are in the jail right now are African-American people. I am concerned about those folks. I'm concerned about when you go to visit the jail, it's hard to park. It's hard to get in and out and ingress and egress out of there. We need a place that people can park for free, go see their people. And we need to be concerned about the folks who are being in the jail, not just the attorneys and the judges. That's easy. I mean, they're not going to be moving we don't have to make life easier for them. We need to be concerned about the people that the jail is serving. And by and large, that's African American people, and that's the people that I'm concerned about and I advocate for every day. We absolutely need a new jail, and I hope that, and I'm in the community. The people that I talk to in the community, they say the same thing, that we need a new jail. So thank you all for finally addressing this issue because it directly impacts the African-American community. Thank you.
Reverend C.J. Matthews.
Dr. C.J. Matthews, Executive Director, United Pastors and Mission. To our esteemed council president, to you, the council members, and to this audience and those streaming in. I come down today because we've been exploring this particular challenge of building a new jail, and we've listened to a lot of the concerns of many of the residents of Cuyahoga County, which most of them are legitimate. Especially when we talk about cost. We know the other challenges within our county, And so every dollar we spend anywhere has to affect something that makes a difference in the lives of the citizens. We know about the particular idea of implosion when it comes to building a bigger jail, because the idea of bail reform is still being fought. The idea of criminal justice reform, though we have made some strides, is still being fought. I liken it to the fact that we'll take one step forward slowly and then we'll run backwards. That's been our history, unfortunately. Also, the resources for the other things that have been named as I've looked across the county and listened to various organizations are critical. And we need to find ways and plans to affect foster care and adoption, children aging out of foster care, rape crises and the things that come with it. All of those things are at your feet. But at the same time, regardless of the cost, regardless of the size, and I think that someone needs to determine that over and over again, because if criminal justice reform works, we don't need 700 new beds, whatever that number is. If bail reform works, we don't need it. We learned through fugitive safe surrender, more than 70,000 people surrendering across this country to date. We've learned that the criminal justice system can work very differently when it's put in a place that's different. I say this and I'm finished. I'm concerned about the politics. I'm concerned about the cost. I'm concerned about resources for all of the plethora of other things. But the greatest concern I have right now is the inhumane conditions that exist in our jail. We cannot call ourselves a county that is concerned about people and operate our jail the way it is one more day. Thank you.
Reverend Vincent Stokes.
Good evening. Good evening, County President. The 13th Amendment literally is the only amendment in the U.S. Constitution that talks about slavery. It's the amendment that literally frees slaves, but says the only reason you can be a slave is if you are in jail or incarcerated. We have a need for bail reform. In fact, we do. We do. We need bail reform, but we also need a new jail. And both of those things can be talked about at the same time. I am for a new jail because my sister works in that jail. My sister's a nurse in that jail. My best friend is a correction officer in that jail. I have cousins in that jail. It is unfair for people to have to pay $30 for parking to go to work to be able to feed their families when you can have free parking at another facility. When you talk about the conditions of the jail and you talk about them not having the ability to see sunlight, do you know vitamin D is an essential vitamin that we all need? And it's unfair for them not to have access to being able to have sunlight. We need a new jail. We do need bail reform, and I hope we look at that as well. But a new jail is important. My father was in that jail. My cousin, as a matter of fact, 10 years ago died in that very jail. So I have a vested interest in seeing that we have a new jail, a jail that is equitable, a jail that is humane. Just because people are in jail does not mean that they are no longer citizens of the United States of America. Many of them in that jail can vote, so they are citizens. And we need to stand firm and stand up and provide a new jail. And I leave that with you all as the county council. We need a new jail. Thank you.
Rob Loftus.
Hi, I'm Rob Loftus. I live in Bay Village. A couple people who are here who were at the previous meeting, the public meeting on the 25th with your consultants. I'm sorry. You know, I'm going to stick to what I wrote because I get nervous. Sorry about that. So I thought you should hear an honest report of the kind of public meeting that we had about the jail on the 25th. I don't know what kind of report your staff gave you, but the meeting did not go well. So if your staff said, oh, there's plenty of public support for the jail, and we were able to speak to the concerns of the people who had misgivings, they were misleading you. So I think the main problem, right, was your consultants and architects showed up prepared to talk about aesthetics, right? And Lou mentioned this, and it's true. And we need to be having a conversation about massive human rights abuses rather than aesthetics. You know, they wanted to talk about how the new jail wouldn't look like a jail. It would, and it would be isolated, like sonically and visually from the rest of the community. And there was a board where you could put up a sticker. It was an interactive thing. They want audience input. So put a sticker on the board, the area of the board that represents your priorities, right? So one of the priorities was parking. Another priority was the building should make a statement. And, well, no one put the building with a sticker there. And I think that's because no matter what the building looks like, it's going to make a statement, right? But it's not going to make a happy statement. It's going to tell people that we are designing our whole society around the need to control them. It's going to tell people that we're not funding your welfare, we're funding your control. It's going to tell people that they will never be free. And I know the current jail is horrible. It's grim. It is not what is killing people. It is not, the building itself is way low down on the list of human rights abuses that have been going on, right? And so the message that you're sending, the building will send a message, I'm certain of it. Tell your architects they don't need to worry about that. The message that you're sending is, all right, I already said that. Thank you.
Barbara Madison.
I want to thank Lou to beginning. She started me on this stuff. Anyway, we're talking about Norma Herr.
Miss Madison, if you could speak closer in the microphone, thank you.
Norma Herr, the women's shelter. I think it probably might be worse than the jail, but I'm going to go down and visit. 2 weeks ago, I got beat up. This little old lady got beat up by someone who had a psychological illness. In 1967, Ronald Reagan decided not to fund things like Fair Hill, mental health places. No money. Send them all. They're homeless. So here we are. I got beat up about 3 weeks ago. Okay? And what was interesting about it, other than the beating, was that I didn't have my phone with me. So I told staff, call the security, call the police, get this woman off of me. They didn't. My attorney said, don't say anything more. They're going to answer for that one. Okay? My suggestion is that someone needs to come and evaluate that place. I think someone was supposed to come a few months ago, never showed up. We are in desperate need of staff training. How do you treat mental illness? They don't know. And really, they shouldn't know. They don't have any degrees behind them. We need security. I understand the other night I looked at the news and they said that Edna Hunter or whatever has security guard. We have people who have no idea. We have people who are there because they know somebody and that's their auntie. No training. I'm very disappointed in this, but I have good news because I have been approached by a Cleveland charter to be a teacher there. I have a master's degree in special education, and believe me, I'm gonna take it, okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But I hope something can be done for the other ladies that are going to be there, because I'm leaving.
Pearl C.
Hi, I'm here as a resident of Cleveland and also as a climate activist. I'd like to speak out against the building of a new jail, and I'll also take this time to talk about other ways the budget should be spent. There have been claims by county officials that the new jail will increase public safety. However, real public safety comes from building community resilience. This includes investing in public health care, a robust transit system, and affordable housing. Instead of spending nearly $1 billion on a new jail, I want to see the county making investments towards life-affirming services. The carceral state is deeply tied with those responsible for the climate catastrophe. The fossil fuel industry disproportionately pollutes Black and brown communities. At the same time, law enforcement officials disproportionately police these same communities. The site that's being proposed for the jail location is a toxic waste site, a former Standard Oil refinery. This shows that the county is not truly interested in prioritizing the well-being of prisoners with the building of this new jail. Rather, they want to use this land that has been passed over for residential neighborhoods to expand mass incarceration locally. A reason I want to see the funding going towards building life-affirming services instead of the jail is because Northeast Ohio is a region that has relative protection from the most immediate effects of climate change. Because of this, our population is going to be increasing over the next few decades, and we need to be ready. County officials need to follow the guidance of the community it serves to determine the policies to keep us safe, and we can look to other areas for inspiration on how to move forward. For example, in January 2020, Boston City Council adopted a resolution affirming that the climate crisis is a public health emergency. Since then, Boston's mayor, Michelle Wu, has proposed electrifying school buses, incentivizing building retrofits, and eliminating fare collection on bus routes. Along the same lines, it would cost the city of Cleveland $40 million, only 8% of the budget, to build a new jail to make the RTA free to ride. We all deserve to have actual safety and actual community. We need to fund life-affirming services like public transit, affordable housing, and resilient infrastructure. The money exists for all of this. And like so many people here today, I want to see our officials reassessing their priorities and investing in people, not prisons. Thank you.
Pearl, before you leave the podium, if you could just state your name for the record, that would be greatly appreciated.
My name is Pearl Chen.
Thank you. Brian Mallory.
Good evening, County Executive Budish, Council President Jones, Councilwoman Conwell. You folks know me. I've been here before. I'm one of the tri-chairs of the Ohio Poor People's Campaign.
Mr. Mallory, I'm sorry, if you could state your name for the record.
Yes, my name is Brian Mallory. I live in Ohio City and Cleveland, and I am one of the state tri-chairs of the Ohio Poor People's Campaign. And there's been so much said today. I was here for the committee of the whole. And like was said previously, I do want to let this august body know that we are not sound and fury signifying nothing. We are the people who are responsible for putting you in this position. And we are taking note. And we do not appreciate being referred to or having some people refer to putting on the blinders and the earmuffs and to just keep your head down and do what needs to be done. Because as has been eloquently stated here, we need to invest in life, not death. We need to invest in affirming those positive things in our community. We have seen communities of greater size, the city of Los Angeles and that county, turned back a $500 million jail in the last 2 years. Now, I know no one would be so silly as to think that the problems of that great metropolis are what we have here, but yet they managed to find a way. I listened to very, very expert and very bright people raise concerns and talk past each other, okay? I'm listening to members of our faith community, and yes, I'm a poor person, I'm a black person, and I have plenty of contact. I'm the son of a pastor in this community, and I know for a fact that a quarter point increase of the sales tax is regressive. It's going to hit my people and the people that look like me the hardest after we've been over-policed, underinvested, and pushed around for too long. So again, the last time I was here, I was a little emotional. I'm a little emotional again. I kind of reminded you all of that cliche in the old horror movies of the villagers with the pitchforks and torches. I thought that was rather harsh because I didn't want to have you folks feel that I was threatening you in any kind of way physically. But one thing I do know is that people are taking note. 40 years of this regressive tax, like was mentioned, is too long. People are wondering, why are we spending so much when we know there's a court expansion coming after this jail expansion? And these are legitimate questions. And you folks are empowered to provide legitimate answers for us or suffer the political consequences. Thank you very much.
Ethan Platt.
Hello, my name is Ethan Platt. I'm a resident of Cleveland Heights. All right, so I'm new to this. The last I heard about the county jail was that it had a budget of $500 million. I've now been informed that that budget has ballooned to $750 million before ground has been broken, before we've even started construction. This is, frankly, as a taxpayer, worrying. If this project is not well enough planned to even know its budget within a margin of 50%, what else is slipping through the cracks? How much more expensive will this get? We've heard a lot about the abuses in the current jail and the human rights violations therein. How can we be assured that a newer jail will solve any of these problems if we can't even be sure what it's going to cost us? Furthermore, every dollar that this project goes over budget is going to be pulling away from vital services, investing in our future, investing in public housing, investing in affordable healthcare, investing in transit to get people to their jobs. These are the sort of things that drive cycles of poverty and drive more crime. If we want to spend our limited resources wisely, we need to carefully review how we're doing this. And with a 50% increase in budget this early into the project, we need more review. We should be considering alternatives that produce a better standard of life, that produce better living conditions for our community, for our friends, our neighbors, and our loved ones. I strongly urge this council to slow down and assess alternatives that don't involve spending now the majority of $1 billion on incarceration. Thank you.
Larry Rodriguez.
Hello there, this is Mr. Rodriguez, and I'm kind of concerned about the jail security for people with disabilities, and I'm actually concerned. I want to see something done. I want to see a better, improved jail system overall. Whether it's the new building, the old building, we need a better jail system. We need to be spending our money a little bit wiser. You know, $75 million for a jail, that's a little too much. $1 billion, whatever, that's too much. We need some of that money to be placed on our roads. We need some of that money for RTA services improvements. We need a little bit better money for the homeless people. Actually, I'm a little bit concerned about 2100. People have been saying that they've been served cold food or sometimes too hot. And the pandemic is still around. They need help. I mean, I'm going to be visiting the 2100 facility pretty soon at some point, but it's a concerning safety issue for people with disabilities living in these communities, whether it's in the jail system or in the homeless shelters. We need to do something. Thank you.
Larry Heller.
Hi, my name is Larry Heller. I work for Northern Ohio Recovery Association, NORA. So this current jail did not suddenly become run down, uninhabitable, inhumane 3 years ago. It's been like that for years. People have been suffering in this inhumane environment for many years, and no one cared. Where was the urgency then? Why this sudden urgency? It appears that this sudden urgency was created by a series of deaths a few years ago in the building, and that suddenly created this urgency for a new building. The sad part is, not one single death occurred because of the building. The building did not cause any deaths. There are problems in our system. We heard today from an employee in that building, a corrections officer. There are many corrections officers who are good, decent people, caring people who work there because they want to help those they serve. And their hands are tied. They're not able to do what they want to do. Why does an employee of the jail have to come to a county council meeting with a cry for help? Why were they not the first voice heard when the planning started? I'm so glad that the corrections officers have finally come here to voice their concerns, make their voice heard. They speak for the interests of employees in that facility. Many of us are here to speak on behalf of the residents of that facility because no one else will speak for them, because their voice is not heard. Any change concerning this jail must, in order to succeed, must have input from people impacted by the jail. That includes employees, it includes residents, it includes families of residents, and it includes our community. There is a room full of people that's been here time after time. We show up here because we care, we want to help, we want to participate. Many times, many people have stood at this podium and offered to help. I challenge this council, convene a large body of interested and directly impacted individuals to participate in planning. The problem is not the building. There are systemic issues. Our community has had one of the worst jails in the country for more than 100 years. And every time a new report comes out stating that we're one of the worst, our elected officials at the time promise a new building will solve all the problems. It never has, it never will. We need the involvement of everyone who's directly impacted. Please get some community input, form some participation from us. We'd all like to help and like to participate in the process. Thank you.
Lou Zucker.
Hi there. My name is Lou Zucker. I'm a resident of District 7. Yvonne Conwell is my representative on County Council. I actually want to talk about jail population today and overcrowding. One of the stated reasons for the argument that we need another jail is because of the overcrowding in the current one. And people are stuffed in there like sardines. It's terrible, and it's not only a COVID risk, but it's a mental health risk, it's a physical safety risk for all of the people who are incarcerated in there. Now, if we look at who's inside, as of a few weeks ago, is around 1,500 people in the jail. And back in January, the city of Cleveland put on a review of the population of the jail and found that 143 people, which is 10% of the jail population, was held there past their release date. So if people were getting released on their release dates, the population of the jail would reduce by 10%. And then all of the people who are in there who are approved safe to leave by the judges, by the arraignment judges, when they post cash bond, hundreds of people in there are unable to leave because they cannot afford, whether it's $500 or $1,000 for cash bail. So even though the judge says this person is safe to go back to the community, we're just going to make them pay this much money to do that, they can't leave. So that's, I don't know, another, if we're being conservative, 20% of people. So a few pretty simple, tiny tweaks to this jail system could reduce our population by 30%. And then we think about other folks who are in there on something called technical violations of probation. So there's certain things that if you're on probation, most of you probably know this, but I'm sharing this just in case others don't. If you're on probation, you can get sent to jail for things that are not crimes. So if you're late to a meeting with your probation officer because you had to work or you had to pick up your child from school or any reason, you could be sent back to jail. There's so many people in that jail who are not a threat to public safety that when we think about how small the population could be, and it went down, I think, to 900 at the top of the pandemic. If we reduce the jail population by that much, that expands the possibilities of renovating the jail. If everyone can be in one of the buildings, then the other one, the opportunities for actual renovation, people can have sunlight, people can have better facilities. That really expands what's possible. And so it's kind of BS to hear, oh no, we're so worried about overcrowding.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Your time is ended. Thank you.
We just don't buy it. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Josiah Quarles.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was actually at a...
Mr. Quarles, if you could...
My name is Josiah Quarles, and I work at NEOC, Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless. I was actually a panelist at a city club earlier today speaking about crisis care, so I would suggest all of you check it out. It was very powerful and could have some impact in this discussion. I'd like to start off addressing some of the things that were raised. And I think that part of the issue that we've had is that the community itself has not had an opportunity to discuss with one another this issue, right? And people are speaking at cross purposes. The allegation that none of us have been in jail, I've been in jail. I've been violated on probation for coming late to a probation hearing and sent back to jail. I've been violated on probation for having a diluted sample in the middle of a summer during a heat stretch where I was drinking a gallon of water a day, coaching soccer, and because there was too much water in my urine, I was sent to jail. I've been in that place. I know that it is awful. It's dehumanizing, and that the state that it is in has been a long process of getting there. Right, and the county has had control over that process the entire time. So for us to think that magically that will all change with a new jail, I have no confidence in that. And we have seen throughout history that we build new jails. We build new jails constantly. We constantly invest in jails. New jails do not create new mentalities, they reinforce old ones. What we really need to be doing, which has been brought up, is investing in people in a wide scope of areas that will affect public safety, that will enable people not to find themselves tangled up within the criminal justice system and have their families separated, have them losing their homes and returning to the street with nothing. People build up everything to lose it all, then build it up and lose it all. And the cycle is defeating, and it creates desperation, and it feeds into criminal activity that tears apart our communities. And that is not a helpful process, right? There's no need to rush now to spend this kind of money on this kind of project when the people who are suffering in that jail, whether they are employees or residents, okay, could use a lot of investment right now in better food, right? Structural investments, while we as a community and as stakeholders within the government develop a plan that is fitting to actually give us public safety in the long term. Thank you.
Matthew On.
Good evening, Council. My name is Matthew On. I am a downtown resident. I live in Yvonne Conwell's district, District 7. I just want to cover a couple of things because I think a lot of the frequent commenters have sort of taken new angles. I want to just make sure that we're all on the same page here, right? We are talking not about the jail as a moral issue, as a policy issue, and even as a sort of spending priority issue. First, I want to start with a moral issue, right? We are caging people who are not threats to the community. As Ms. Zucker said, right, we had a jail population of somewhere between 900 and 950 at the beginning of the pandemic, and nothing happened. There was no sort of consequence from that. And may I remind you that every 2 days of incarceration is 1 day off of your life expectancy. So every person that we are incarcerating, we are making this community less healthy. We talked a little bit at the Tri-C meeting about the square footage of the jail. We're talking about a proposal of 800,000 square feet for a rated capacity of 1,900 inmates. That's around 400 square feet or 1.5 parking spaces per person. Now to the policy, right? Jails increase recidivism. For somebody with less than, not a particularly long criminal record, 4 days of pretrial detention increases their recidivism rate 48%. And a week of pretrial detention increases everybody's recidivism rate about 9% or as high as 21% depending on certain studies, right? We have diversion opportunities that are not being used. Again, we can get down to 950. We've done it before, right? In terms of the spending priorities, we're now talking about a difference between a $750 million proposal and a proposal that was touted to us as too expensive to remodel the whole Justice Center at a price tag of $304 million. The difference of $446 million is enough to house every long-term unhoused person in Cuyahoga County in their own market rate apartment for 6 years and still have money left over for services, for dual diagnosis, trauma-informed care, and so on and so forth. We're still waiting for a third-party review to be publicized. We don't know. The price tag may be even lower than that $304 million. Are we going to push a regressive tax through in order to create a jail that we know is morally wrong, is wrong from a policy perspective, and does not represent the priorities of the residents of the county? I would just pose that question to this council and hope they take it under advisement. Thank you very much.
William Spate.
Hello, I'm William Spate, employee at the county jail for almost 20 years. I believe, can I have all the correction officers stand up that came to this very first meeting? I firmly believe none of us should actually have to come here to talk about a new jail. I believe we don't need a new jail. We need to work on employee retention, morale building. The jail in itself physically could use some hardscaping. A new jail is not going to improve morale. It is not going to improve retention. You're still going to have a ton of liability from lawsuits if there's no employees there. $1 billion, you can probably put that into the city of Cleveland or East Cleveland and pretty much fix up a lot of neighborhoods around the city, I believe. You can put that in some schooling, recidivism, rejection, some trades or something for people that's incarcerated. You can obviously get that to a lot of juveniles to stop them from coming to jail. Put those in some programs, not just athletics, but any programs. Trinity is a $9 million waste of taxpayer allocated funds. Inside that jail, the food is deplorable. It's going to get somebody hurt. We had somebody, I believe, come down there and check it out, which was greatly appreciated. Officer assaults are up because of lack of staffing. We just don't need a new jail. Like somebody said, 900 people, you get it down to that, you can hard escape the building again, one housing at a time, and save the taxpayers a ton of money. That's all I have.
That concludes the public comment portion for this meeting.
All right, thank you, Andrea. Again, thank you everyone for your comments. At this time, can I have a motion to approve our minutes as presented in today's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The minutes are approved. At this time, we'll have messages from our county executive.
Thank you, Mr. President. Because of the time and the length of the meetings, I'll pass on my message today. Thank you.
All right. Legislation introduced by council. Consideration of resolutions of council for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution 2022-0304, awarding a total sum not to exceed $307,531 to the City of North Olmsted for the North Olmsted Recreation Indoor Field Turf Project from the District 1 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will be referred to the Community Development Committee.
Resolution 2022-0305, awarding a total sum not to exceed $892,469 to the City of North Olmsted for the North Olmsted School Building Demolition and Critical Infrastructure Project from the District 1 ARPA Grant Fund.
This item will be referred to the Community Development Committee.
Resolution 2022-0306, awarding a total sum not to exceed $152,662 to the Village of Brooklyn Heights for the Community Services Bus Replacement Project from the District 8 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0307, awarding a total sum not to exceed $97,000 to the Village of Brooklyn Heights for the Spring Road Reconstruction Project from the District 8 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0308, awarding a total sum not to exceed $218,526 to the Harvard Community Services Center for the purpose of capital improvements, renovations, and replacements and program gap funding from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This item will be referred to the Community Development Committee.
And at this time, Council President Jones would like his name added to this item as a sponsor. Resolution 2022-0309, awarding a total sum not to exceed $2 million to the Cleveland Neighborhood Progress for the Shaker Square Project from the Districts 7, 8, 9, and 10 ARPA Community Grant Funds and the general fund made available by the American Rescue Plan Act revenue replacement.
This item will be referred to the Economic Development Committee. Consideration of resolutions of council for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0194, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1 million to the City of Shaker Heights for the Lee Road Corridor Revitalization Project from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Motion to adopt. Mr. President, I'm sure the council members from the districts might want to say a few words on these since they're from ARPA funding.
Thank you. Let's see. Mayor Weiss is here and his Economic Development Director, Laura Engelhardt.
Councilmember Turner, if you could speak a little louder in your microphone. Thank you.
Okay, I was just acknowledging the fact that Mayor Weiss was here from Shaker Heights. I believe that this project is long overdue, and I ask my colleagues to give all due consideration to this request.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
I fully support the project and would like to add my name.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0220, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1,200,000 to the City of Bay Village for the Cahoon Memorial Park Lakefront project from the District 1 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Thank you. And, before we get started, I have a few on the agenda today. I just want to state that this is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity through the federal ARPA funding that we are able to enhance the quality of life for the 120,000 residents of the West Shore. And I thank our West Shore mayors for their leadership and my colleagues for supporting all 4 projects in committee that will forever be impactful to Cuyahoga County. All projects were thoroughly discussed and presented in public by the mayors of those cities. The first that we're going to talk about is the Bay Village project. It is the Cahoon Memorial Park Lakefront project, and this project will both prevent erosion and create public access along 2,000 feet of Lake Erie shoreline in Cahoon Memorial Park. The Lakefront project is shovel-ready, and they are pursuing multiple funding options to begin work. This project will leverage investments already made in the park to link cities' commercial areas and park assets to the lakefront, creating a regional, accessible, outdoor recreation destination. Of the $239 million ARPA dollars awarded to Cuyahoga County, with a population in Bay Village of 15,200, they will receive 0.5% of that amount. So I ask for your support of this important project.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0221, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1 million to the City of Fairview Park for the Public Facility Regional Environmental Improvement Project from the District 1 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Again, this project for Fairview Park includes the construction of a multifaceted, regionally beneficial public service facility. The project will address energy conservation, water quality, and government efficiencies through the construction of a service facility that is equipped with solar panels, a sewer sludge decanting pad for the 4 Rocky River wastewater treatment plant cities, and additional storage that will make it possible for regional public safety assets to be stored at City Hall. I ask for your support of this important project.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2022-0222, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1,217,000 to the City of Rocky River for the purpose of constructing a firearms range for the Rocky River Police Department from the District 1 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Thank you. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Thank you. The completion of this project will make it the first in the region suited for indoor rifle training in an extended distance. This range is attached to the new Rocky River Police Station, dedicated on September 2021, and includes a large garage for indoor training and vehicle stops and approaches and a classroom for lecture portions of training. The completion of this project will allow increased training for law enforcement professionals throughout the county and will be a concentration on West Shore region, serving residents, schools, businesses, and visitors to those communities. I ask for your support of this project.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0223, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1 million to the City of Westlake for the purpose of demolition of the Parkside Intermediary School to facilitate construction of the Parkside Park and athletic fields from the District 1 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Motion to adopt. Thank you. Again, this last project that's presented in the West Shore is for the Parkside Park and the demolition of the Parkside Intermediate School. It is now a vacant building, and an eyesore to those that live around it. It will create a park and trails that will enhance the quality of life in Westlake. I ask for your support of this important project.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution 2022-0224, awarding a total sum not to exceed $500,000 to the Beck Center for the Arts for infrastructure needs from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt. Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution awards $500,000 in District 2 ARPA funds to the Beck Center for the Arts for HVAC and other infrastructure improvements as part of their larger capital upgrade. The Beck Center is one of the premier organizations on the west side of Cuyahoga County for both education and performance in the arts, and I request the support of my colleagues.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0225, awarding a total sum not to exceed $350,000 to the Bel Air Puritas Development Corporation for the construction of the Lyric Community Center, Phase 2, from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution awards $350,000 in District 2 ARPA funds to the Bel Air Puritas Development Corporation to renovate a building on Lyric Avenue near John Marshall High School to provide a combination of youth, after-school programs, and adult workforce development. Bel Air Puritas has the capacity to run the programs with no operating support from the county. These programs will assist youth and adults with personal and career development and help prevent opiate addiction. I request support from my colleagues.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like my name added, but also just to give some closure. This has been on the books trying to get done for 10 years, and Councilman Dale Miller put it to the finish line, and he should be applauded for that.
All right, let's add Councilman Sweeney's name to this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0226, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1,500,000 to the City of Lakewood for the Lakewood Refuse and Recycling Animal Shelter and Stockpile Yard Project, and it's from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt. Okay.
I'm sorry, who?
I'll move as the chair of the committee, and Councilman Miller's
Second.
the sponsor, and okay, thank you.
My colleagues, this resolution awards $1,500,000 in District 2 ARPA funding for a multi-purpose project that will upgrade recycling services, create a new animal shelter, and enable a major stormwater retention project by relocating facilities to make space for the project. I request support of my colleagues.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0227, awarding a total sum not to exceed $40,000 to the Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation for the Career Connect Internship Program Enhancement Project from the District 7 ARPA Community Grant Funds.
Move to adopt. Okay, Councilwoman.
May I have the clarification?
Sorry, I'll second. Jill first.
Thank you.
And then I defer to my colleague.
And I'll put a second.
Councilwoman, this is your
I
district.
just wanted to add that this professional association has a history of assisting young people to have internships in their majors. So I would ask my colleagues to support.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
We have one recusal. Councilmember Turner.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2022-0228, awarding a total sum not to exceed $65,000 to the Catholic Charities St. Martin de Porres Family Center for strategic plan development from the District 7 Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt. Second. I'd like to say that probably the next five or few are programs that need to be funded in terms of their collabs from HHS, Department of Children and Family Services, has children
and their families that go there for visitation in many of these collabs, these community collab centers. And as other things that we have heard, they have had deterioration and of their centers, their furniture, and things of that nature, and they would like to increase that, and that benefits the mission that we have for HHS and our children and families that have to go there and visit with their children and make a connection, trying to rebond. So the next few or more will be District 7 ARPA funds. Not that I have all the collabs, but I do have a majority in my district. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0229, awarding a total sum not to exceed $90,000 to the Catholic Charities Corporation, Fatima Family Center, for furniture upgrades at 6600 Lexington Avenue on the Fatima Family Center campus from the District 7 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, I won't speak on each one.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0230, awarding a total sum not to exceed $63,000 to the Catholic Charities Corporation, Fatima Family Center, for the Huff Collaborative main office upgrade from the District 7 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0231, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the East End Neighborhood House, Inc., for the purpose of making various capital improvements from the District 7 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0232, awarding a total sum not to exceed $700,000 to the Murtis Taylor Human Services System for the Community Center Capital Repair, Renovation, and Expansion Project from the District 7 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
And at this time, Council President Jones would like his name to be added as a sponsor. Resolution 2022-0233, awarding a total sum not to exceed $73,200 to the City of Bedford Heights for the purpose of upgrades and staffing at the Bedford Heights Computer Lab from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0234, awarding a total sum not to exceed $35,000 to the City of Bedford Heights for the purpose of expanding the Bedford Heights Food Relief Program from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Councilwoman. Second.
If there is no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0235, awarding a total sum not to exceed $450,000 to the City of Bedford Heights for the Homeowner Energy Efficient Weatherization Relief Program from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2022-0236, awarding a total sum not to exceed $600,000 to the City of Warrensville Heights for the purpose of upgrading the Warrensville Heights Senior and Civic Center from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0237, awarding a total sum not to exceed $2,674,700 to the Cleveland Hitchcock Center for Women, Inc., and it's for the purpose of constructing a new treatment center building from the General Fund, ARPA Revenue Replacement, the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund, the District 7 ARPA Community Grant Fund, and the District 10 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
I would just like to say this is an important measure for Cuyahoga County in continuing the treatment resources for women and children It is a unique center that allows children to remain with their parents during treatment. And so I am very, think that this county needs to move forward with this initiative and look forward to many others that we can do and as this one will do for our communities. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Jones? Yes, I'd like to add my name and thank the councilwomen, especially Conwell, who has, I believe, led this, and it's been on our radar for a long time, so thank you.
Mr. President, could you add my name as well? Sweeney.
All right, let's add their names.
Duly noted.
All right, legislation introduced by executive. Consideration of resolutions for first reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor of suspending the rules say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution 2022-0310, amending the 2022-2023 biennial operating budget for 2022 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources for appropriation transfers and cash transfers. Also, amending resolution number R 2022-0018 dated January 25th, 2022.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
All right. There's no discussion. All those in favor say
Hold
aye.
on.
Okay.
Dale got a little.
We were waiting on you, Miller.
Okay. Mr. President, my colleagues, I would like to start by moving an amendment. May I have a second?
Second.
The amendment is to remove appropriation item W, which is the say yes to education item. The director's report suggested a much larger 4E reimbursement than we have seen in the past, and we would like to have this referred to committee to get clarification. And after the amendment is acted on, I would like to make some additional comments on the motion as a whole.
All right, can we have a motion to accept the amendment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The amendment is accepted.
And Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution is the regular fiscal agenda of budget amendments. The answers to our questions to OBM are on your desks. The resolution appropriates money for capital projects and roads, includes appropriation and closeout of grants, makes accounting changes and transfers. Notable is the appropriation of $2,763,000 for construction of a multi-purpose room at the animal shelter, and legislation for the contract relating to that item will be heard by the council at a later time. I recommend passage on first reading suspension.
All right, all those in favor of accepting the resolution as amended, say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0311, approving a collective bargaining agreement between Cuyahoga County and the Cuyahoga Deputy Sheriff's Supervisors Association, representing approximately 22 employees in the classification of deputy sergeants in the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024.
Move to adopt.
Second.
This item was previously discussed in executive session, and I asked my colleagues for support. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0312, extending the appointment of Interim Sheriff Stephen Hammett to March 31st, 2023, or until a permanent appointment is made, whichever is sooner.
Yes.
Council President, council members, good afternoon. Trevor McClure, County Council staff. Resolution R 2022-0312 and the next two temporarily extends the interim period for the sheriff and the two directors until March 31st of 2023, or until the next executive would bring someone else forward for confirmation, whatever happens sooner. This is the agreed upon date that the council president has with the administration on any other vacancies that might occur that is a confirmable position.
Move to adopt. Second.
Mr. President,
Yes,
I'd like
discussion.
to add my name.
Let's add Councilwoman Simon's name.
Mr. President, I would like to add my name.
Let's add Councilwoman Turner's name and add my name as well.
Duly noted. Resolution 2022-0313, extending the appointment of,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
think we voted.
Yep,
Okay,
all
I'm
those in
sorry.
favor say aye.
We called it one time.
thank you. Okay, Resolution 2022-0313, extending the appointment of Natasha Pietrocola as Interim Director of the Division of Senior and Adult Services in the Department of Health and Human Services to March 31st, 2023, or until a permanent appointment is made, whichever is sooner.
Move to adopt.
Second.
No discussion.
No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0314, extending the appointment of Jacqueline Fletcher as Interim Director of the Division of Children and Family Services in the Department of Health and Human Services to March 31st, 2023, or until a permanent appointment is made, whichever is sooner.
Move to adopt. Second. Mr. President, I apologize. I don't know whose responsibility it was to speak on the last one or as well as this one, but they are both interim directors for HHS agency, and the Administrator, David Merriman, felt that with the new administration coming in, that he would not fulfill those positions, and he would have individuals that were very well qualified step up into those roles until there is a decision that would be made by the new incoming county executive. And both of these directors currently have been working with our staff as well as administration and putting their best foot forward in all of the issues that are dealing with. So hopefully they will go forward if it was just up to me.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0314, extending the appointment of Jacqueline Fletcher as Interim Director of the Division of Children and Family Services in the Department of Health and Human Services to March 31st, 2023, or until a permanent appointment is made, whichever is sooner.
Second.
All right, and if there is no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution 2022-0315, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Glenn Shoemate to serve on the Cuyahoga County Citizens Advisory Council on Equity for the term July 15th, 2022 through July 14th, 2025.
This item will be referred to the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee.
Resolution 2022-0316, amending the 2022-2023 biennial operating budget for 2022 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources for appropriation transfers and cash transfers.
This item will be referred to the Finance and Budgeting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0317, declaring that public convenience and welfare requires the rehabilitation of Boston Road Bridge number 07.45 over the east branch of the Rocky River in the city of Broadview Heights. Total estimated project cost, $1,700,000. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvement.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0318, declaring that public convenience and welfare requires the elimination of Chagrin River Road, bridge number 02.40 over Deer Lick Creek in the village of Bentleyville. Total estimated project cost, $2,650,000. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvement.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0319, authorizing the vacation of a certain portion of county-owned right-of-way within Station Road located in the city of Brecksville in connection with the Cleveland Metropolitan Park District improvements, setting the date, time, and place for a view, and setting the date, time, and place for the final hearing in connection with said vacation.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0320, making awards on requisition 9296 to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $1,200,000 for construction management and support services commencing upon contract signature of all parties for a period of 3 years. For the following providers: contract number 2638 with Hill International, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $400,000. Contract number 2639 with Quality Control Inspection, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $400,000. And contract number 2640 with DLZ Ohio, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $400,000.
This resolution will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0321, making awards on requisition 9480 to various providers in an amount not to exceed $867,000 to provide immigration and refugee services commencing upon contract signature for 3 years. For the following providers: contract number 2685 with the Refugee Response in the amount not to exceed $507,000, and contract number 2686 with Legal Aid Society of Cleveland in the amount not to exceed $360,000.
And this item will be referred to the Economic Development Committee.
Resolution 2022-0322, authorizing a grant award with Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District in the amount not to exceed $1 million to support the planning, design, and construction of green infrastructure control measures within the combined sewer system wastewater service area of Cuyahoga County, commencing upon agreement signature of all parties through December 31st, 2026.
This item will be referred to the Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee.
Resolution 2022-0323, authorizing an amendment to contract number 1201 with Wilbert, Inc. for the purchase of digital oblique photography mapping in connection with the Ohio statewide imagery program, and is for the period September 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2026, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $729,200.
Councilman Miller, did you have a comment?
Just I would request if I could have my name added to resolution 2022-0322.
Let's add the councilman's name.
Thank
And
you.
resolution
Thank you.
2022-0323 will be referred to the Finance and Budgeting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0324, authorizing a state contract with Wilbert, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $553,305.86 for the purchase of aerial imagery acquisition, ortho imagery, processing, and county-wide building outlines in connection with the Ohio statewide imagery program for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023.
This item will be referred to the Finance and Budgeting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0325, authorizing an amendment to contract number 2532 with Infor Public Sector, Inc. for the purchase of 88 Enterprise Asset Management Module Enterprise Edition mobile subscription licenses. And it's for the period March 1st, 2018 through February 29th, 2024 for the assignment and assumption of interest to Hexagon EAM Holdings, LLC, effective October 1st, 2021, to extend the time period to December 8th, 2026, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,482,630.38.
This item will be referred to the Finance and Budgeting Committee.
Resolution 2022-0326, authorizing amendments to various contracts with Manatron, Inc., doing business as Aumentum Technologies, for support and maintenance for various Manatron systems, and it's for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2023, and for additional funds in the total amount not to exceed $704,336.
This item will be referred to the Finance and Budgeting Committee.
Thank you. For the following contracts, number 2411, in the amount not to exceed $142,986 for the Gamma Sigma system, and B, contract number 2424, in the amount not to exceed $561,350 for the Visual Property Tax System. Resolution 2022-0327, authorizing a grant award with Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging in the amount not to exceed $2,103,000 to support various mission activities commencing upon contract signature of all parties through April 30th, 2023.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee.
Resolution 2022-0328, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various providers for emergency assistance services for the period September 1st, 2021 through August 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to August 31st, 2023, and for additional funds in the total amount not to exceed $1,575,000 for the following providers. Contract number 1628 with AZ Furniture Co., Inc., in the amount not to exceed $315,000. Contract number 1630 with Burlington Stores, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $420,000. Contract number 1633 with Dave's Supermarket, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $125,000. Contract number 1634 with Penny Op Co., LLC, doing business as J.C. Penney, in the amount not to exceed $330,000. And contract number 1635 with West 25th Furnishings and Appliances, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $385,000, and to amend the product price list effective September 1st, 2022.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee.
Resolution 2022-0329, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various providers for the Comprehensive Case Management Employment Program, Employment Education and Training Services for Young Adults for the period April 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2023, for additional funds in the total amount not to exceed $819,123 for the following providers. Contract number 2389 with Verge, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $0. Contract number 2390 with Youth Opportunities Unlimited in the amount not to exceed $819,123.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee. Consideration of resolutions for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0244, authorizing affordable loans to various organizations in the total amount not to exceed $4,550,000 for the affordable housing gap for the providers listed on the agenda. A through H.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0246, making an award on requisition 9317 to Community Housing Solutions in the amount not to exceed $1,700,000 to provide home repair grants and loans to eligible homeowners for the Homeowner Repair Program for the period June 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2024 from the 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program Fund and the District 7 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
I just want to say that this is a great initiative from the county to allow homeowners that are seniors to improve their homes because we know that seniors are living longer as well as their retirements are not going up. They're staying static in place, but repairs and things that are needed. So I think this is a good program from the county to have.
All right, all
During
those
these one-time funds, let me say. during these one-time funds.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, the resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2022-0255, authorizing the issuance and sale of County of Cuyahoga, Ohio Economic Development Revenue Bonds, Series 2022A, in the maximum of $31 million for the purpose of providing monies to pay costs of a project within the meaning of Chapter 165 of the Ohio Revised Code, appropriating additional funds in an amount not to exceed $9,400,000.
Move to adopt.
Mr. Chairman? Yes, there's the proposed substitute on your desks. The bond counsel needed to correct some definitions. It's all basically technical stuff. You know, the U.S. Bank changed its name to U.S. Bank and Trust, and then there's some definitions that flow through from previous indentures that are corrected. And then, I don't know if you all recall from the last committee meeting, but there was also a breakdown of that $9,400,000 that's also included in this.
Move to accept the substitute.
Right. Now, let's wait 1 second. I made a motion. I need a second on the motion.
Second.
I had second.
Okay. Now, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And now, Councilman Miller, we will accept your motion to accept the proposed substitute.
Okay, I
Was-
so move.
Was there a second? Second. Okay, any further discussion? Not all those in favor?
Yes,
of-
I would like to
Yes.
mention, yes, thank
Yes,
you.
go ahead.
Just want to make sure I chime in at the right time. You know, we've discussed this thoroughly, and I visited the convention center and given this some serious consideration. And, you know, I do believe that the change from the stairs and limited elevators to add new excavators is reasonable to move guests attending the convention center and using the new updated upper-level meeting rooms and restrooms. I also think that the outdoor patio that now exists that is inadequate should be expanded and updated. There's no reason why that patio can't be better than what it is and should be used as proposed as an upper level if the ballroom is extended. But it should be at least considered to be much better than what it is. It's a relatively low-cost change with an obvious and immediate return on investment. But what I'm not supportive today is the expansion of the 11,000 square foot junior ballroom that is proposed to break through the outside wall to achieve an additional 9,000 square feet. It is not justified at this time for a cost of over $20 million, almost half of the requested amount. Adding 4 more sections in the junior ballroom should be considered in a phase 2, which was suggested during the time that we talked about this, after we have proven to the public that adding the excavators and new meeting rooms have been successful. I understand that this is all wanted now, but we do not have the confidence, in my opinion, in the taxpayers to take such a large leap after 2 unsuccessful tries with the Medical Mart and Global Health Center, both at the time championed to be needed. If this proposal was split, I would support the needed excavators and meeting rooms, but not the construction of a $20 million ballroom expansion. I also think that not connecting the Marriott Skywalk is short-sighted and should be considered in the overall planning. I'm disappointed that I will not be supporting this, given that it's one proposal and not split into phases, but that's what I'm presented with. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you. Just to our law director, can you tell me who the bond counsel is and what fees they're going to charge in the future sometime? Because I want to start understanding that a little bit more.
Well, I'm sorry, Council President to the Chairman, the bond counsel is Bricker, and I think we got this one for $85,000, I think, which is a very good deal for this.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm going to compare it to other
Yeah.
bonds that are coming up in the future, so I have a better handle on it. So it's Bricker, and it's $85,000. Thank you very much.
Further questions, comments?
Just a comment.
Yes.
So, you know, this leaves us, you know, despite the past on this project, you know, it leaves us still with what to do with it. And I can't make a decision today based upon some, you know, perhaps unsuccessful ideas from the past. Moving forward, we have a structure connected to our convention center. And if we do nothing, it's just going to continue to rot. It can't be demoed. It can't be productive if it's nobody's going to come in and take over this part of our convention center. So we have to do something. I think it would be short-sighted for us just to sit back and let it languish. So I fully support the vision for the what we're going to do, and I appreciate the work that went into us, and I have great confidence in the leadership now, and with regard especially to Destination Cleveland, that knows what we need in a convention center and how times have changed since COVID and the need for smaller conference rooms. And I think this makes sense. And I don't think our choices, we don't have many, either let it languish basically or move forward with, I think, a good vision.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
You're welcome.
Mr. President.
Councilman. Yes.
Mr. President, my colleagues, I strongly support this project as well for the reasons stated by Ms. Simon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I support this project as well. Having had an opportunity to go and view the requests and the site, we have to be able to compete with similarly situated communities and regions. And as Councilwoman Simon pointed out, Destination Cleveland supports this development and provided reasons why we need to develop the area, the structure more. One thing I would advise is moving forward is better branding, better understanding of what actually the facility entails, that the old medical mart is no longer and just did not work, but what we have now moving forward as part of this new structure is going to be important with respect to bringing in all the relevant shows that were discussed in the presentation before council. So it is a cost associated with it, but in the long run, I think this is the move that we have to make moving forward here. So I'm for it. Thank you.
Just very briefly.
Yes, go right ahead.
Mr. Chair, I just want to recognize Mayor Brad Sellers and his involvement in this, and that gives me the confidence to get an affirmative vote. Thank you.
Most definitely.
And Mr. President, if I may, just to be clear, because sometimes obvious this doesn't happen, I am not saying that we should do nothing. I'm saying we should do this in phases. I'm saying the first phase, which is most important, is the elevators and the limited stairs be also add new excavators to give the guests a chance to be able to be moved up and down to the upper meeting rooms that is also going to be renovated, and also the restrooms. So there is not a request to do nothing. I'm saying that we should take the most important now in 2 phases, do the second phase, which is considerable, of breaking through an outside wall and add another 9,000 square feet for an expanded ballroom. That I feel we can wait after we've earned the confidence of the people that what we have already done shows improvement. But clearly, I am not saying we do nothing. I'm saying that we take one step at a time and show that what we've done works, because what we have done in the past has not. And I think there is some time that the taxpayers need to know that we are understanding of their reluctancy for us to invest money in this center. I don't think we can do nothing. I don't think we can keep it empty, but I do think that we can take it in phases and prove what it is that we're recommending is the right route. Just so we're clear on that.
Your position is understood, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
I support this item as well. We know we're not competing with the California, the San Diegos, the New Yorks. We're competing with Nashville, Pittsburgh, Detroit, those areas, and they are moving forward. They are expanding their convention centers, and this actually gives us an opportunity to expand ours as well and keep us competitive. So we know the challenges of the medical mart, but this actually is a solution that allows us to remain competitive with those other convention areas. So I do ask for your support. All those in favor of accepting the proposed substitute, say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Nay.
Yes, and one opposition. All those in favor of adopting the resolution on its merits as substituted, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
Consideration of an ordinance for first reading and referral to committee.
Ordinance 2022-0009, providing for modifications to and adoption of certain sections of the Cuyahoga County Employee Handbook.
This item will be referred to the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee. At this time, miscellaneous committee reports. Are there any committee reports?
Mr. President.
Councilman Miller.
My colleagues' Finance and Budgeting Committee will meet at our next regular time on Monday, September 19th at 1 p.m. for ZIG's final ERP report to discuss the termination of the Harris project and to discuss one or more items that were referred today. Thank you.
Mr. President, if I can turn this on. Mr. President, Public Works will meet at its regularly scheduled time next Wednesday at 10 a.m. to go over the plethora of legislation.
Did you say plethora? All right, all right.
Mr. President,
Safety Tuesday,
yeah,
1 o'clock.
sorry. The Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee will meet next Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
Health and Human Services will meet next Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
Environment Education is going to meet on the 21st, Wednesday at 3 p.m. to hear legislation that was introduced at our last council meeting regarding educational programs that we're going to be working on with the executive.
Mr. President, I don't know if I was heard, safety, Tuesday, 1 o'clock, to deal with a cornucopia of issues.
Cornucopia, oh my goodness. All right, all right.
And Mr. President, if I can, I have a cornucopia too, and I give you credit for, by the way, Councilman Gallagher pronouncing obfuscation twice in our previous meeting. That was really impressive. And I want to add perhaps the legislation coming through today. I think Councilman Miller is on the sewer district. If we have time, we'll put that on the agenda, but we'll have to see. Right. Okay, thank you. Councilman Turner? No.
Committee reports?
Council President?
Yes.
Since he's not here, I would like to state that the Economic Development and Planning Committee will take place on September 26th at 3 p.m. for Council Member Jack Schron.
Tell us about community development as well. Oh, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Okay, community development will meet on Monday,
Okay.
September 19th at 10 a.m.
All right, thank you, thank you. All right, okay. Is there any miscellaneous business? Nope. All right.
I do have something
Clerk?
to state. Okay, so for number 13, report by clerk on legislation withdrawn at the request of sponsor. So we have Ordinance 2022-0004, authorizing the county sheriff to donate unneeded food items from the Cuyahoga County Commissary to Ohio nonprofit organizations.
All right.
And then one last thing.
Yes.
This is for our next regularly scheduled meeting. Originally, it was scheduled for Tuesday, September 27th. Due to the Rosh Hashanah holiday, we have moved the meeting to Wednesday, September 28th at 5 p.m.
Excellent. All right, well, you have all diligently sat through a myriad of resolutions and ordinances, and if nothing else holds our attention, our meeting is now adjourned.
Good job, Councilman President Jones.
I had to get in on the fun there, Scott.
Yes.